This is the DNVR Broncos pregame show presented by Coors Light. You're just cracking one open right now. Yeah. Are you spilling yourself, RK?
No, that's just like, that's just part of the cost of doing business.
Okay, cost of doing business. Yes. Cost of doing business. Benny, you look like you're doing business. You look very nice today.
Little business. It's like I'm like really casual myself on the bottom, business up top,
right?
Little Valhalla right here,
right? Just a little flex right there.
That's like my haircut.
I don't know if that's a flex.
That's a flex.
No, Valhalla's a flex. Valhalla's a flex. Oh, it's a good day. Anytime the Broncos play the Raiders, it's a really good day. There's just nothing like a Broncos-Raiders game.
Yeah, it's been far too long into this show before we said fuck the Raiders.
Yeah, fuck the Raiders. Fuck the Raiders.
You especially.
Yeah. Those are fighting words right there. It is going to be interesting. Yeah, the Broncos-Raiders games are super intense. We got the chain snatcher. We got Aqib Talib, who's a part of the DNVR No Lie Zone with RK right here. And last time I played the Raiders, one of the last times I played them, we did get into like a little mini brawl. Crabtree and Aqib going at it.
Bro,
in Oakland. I actually scored in that game, so it was crazy.
I think that's the fastest my heart has raced during an altercation during a game. I was like, this is about to get real.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
That was intense. It was migrating across the field.
They were coming over there.
Fans were losing their mind.
My wife still actually has a video of that breaking out because I have somebody in a chokehold trying to get somebody off of the pile, and she was like, "You're gonna get suspended for this," but luckily we didn't. I didn't.
Let's go.
Do you remember who it was?
Number 61. I remember 61, but I still have the video too.
Oh, I love it. I should say
it's not my personality to choke anybody.
No, I've never seen you do that before. I'm Henry Chisholm, RK here, as you know, host of No Lies, of course. Super Bowl 50 champion, former Denver Broncos receiver, Benny Fowler.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yes. And this is going to be a good day. It's been hard to contain my excitement all day. There's something about waking up, knowing that the Raiders are in town, especially knowing that the Raiders are this bad. And it gets rid of some of the fear that you have throughout a game day. When you say, we're going to show up and every expectation is, Vegas says you win by 10. I think it's going to be a lot more than that.
Oh, really?
I do.
Thursday Night Football, you think the Broncos are going to win by more than 10. So you're, 21 points, 17 points?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a little bit of a weird game. I think the Broncos pull away late. I think they win by 17.
Okay.
I like it. I know that Thursday Night Football gets weird, and so I'm with you on that, Benny. But I do expect the Broncos to get a dub, and I think it really comes down to if they're going to fulfill what you guys are saying, well, they can't be a fourth quarter team.
Right.
You got to be a four-quarter team, which is different.
But so similar. Sounds so similar.
Similar but different.
All right. Let's start from the top here. What's the biggest storyline today?
I think the Broncos just continuing to build off of the confidence that, they're 7-2 right now, want to be 8-2 at the end of the night, and you're now playing for the number 1 seed. So I think that's what the Broncos are thinking about. It is no longer just the AFC West and winning the AFC West. You are now playing for the number 1 seed. You are vying for contention with the New England Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts. So every win is now starting to mean something. I saw Dan Orlovsky actually tweet out that he expects the Broncos to finish 13-4. So that means you're pretty much winning out the rest of this season. Only 2 more losses, and I think that the Broncos right now are now being hunted in the AFC West. 2-game lead in the AFC West. The Broncos have to continue to win and put the foot on the neck of the Raiders today.
I think my big storyline revolves around Bo Nix. And the way that the narrative is going with him right now. You've got a lot of people in Broncos country who believe and who think, hey, this fourth quarter version of Bo Nix can be a 4-quarter version of Bo Nix. And then you have, oh God, down goes a light. And then you have a situation where national media is starting to kind of give up on Bo Nix.
Yes.
And starting to find all these nerdy graphs and whatnot that say that he can't play. But Bo Nix has it. And that's what I love about him. He has that dog in him. He has something about him where when he sees the Raiders on the other side, when he sees it's Thursday Night Football, when he sees it's primetime, I think you're going to get the best out of him. And I know you're going to get the best out of him when they put on the throwbacks.
That is true. That's right, isn't it?
Bo Nix' career in the throwbacks. 64 of 85, that's 75%, 774 yards, 11 total touchdowns, and 1 interception.
That means Bo's about to play elite tonight.
Yes, sir.
A lot of fireworks.
I hope it's the case. I'd love to see it because everybody's watching. Like, everybody across the country is watching this football game, which isn't always the case for the Broncos.
And everyone is looking for something that fits their narrative.
They are. I absolutely am. I'll go with something similar but a little different. To me, it's the receivers. I think you went through this trade deadline. We all wondered whether the Broncos would make a big move because you're sitting here at 7-2, and when you're 7-2, your eyes are on late January, early February. Like, that's what you're trying to do here, which isn't necessarily what we expected coming into this season. But the best way to go and give yourself a real chance to make a run is to add a great player at the trade deadline. Now, we had circled Jalen Waddle. There's some conversations that reporters are having that indicate that the Broncos were trying to go get Jalen Waddle, but just weren't willing to pay the price. Part of the story is they decided they like the young receivers that they have. I would like to see those guys kind of show up and put a stamp on that.
100%. And you bring up a really good point. You know, now that the trade deadline has passed, I'm actually very happy that the Broncos did make a move. I thought it would have been exciting from a fan perspective, but actually being in that locker room and hearing Troy Franklin talk about how Sean echoed to them that, hey, we believe in this group. I think it's very important for their confidence going forward. If Jalen Waddle, if you make a trade for that, obviously you're going for the win now mode, but also what that does to you as a player makes you think that, oh, I don't really have it, or they're looking for another opportunity to give somebody else the ball. Also, I think as the season continues to go on, Sean has not played all his cards with Evan Ingram, Troy Franklin, and the rest of these guys, Pat Bryant. So with Marvin Mims being out tonight, I think Pat Bryant will also continue to have a bigger role, and him being a rookie, I think he's getting better every single week. So I actually love the fact that they didn't make the trade, because also the Broncos are ahead of schedule. You know, Sean was the only person really, and the people in that locker room, who thought this was a Super Bowl team, and now everybody is getting a chance to see that. But I still think that they are ahead of schedule. And then also in free agency in the draft, you have a lot to play with now that Russell Wilson is off of the cap table after this year.
I've had so much fun in March and April the past few years. I want fun in December and January. I can't be excited about the draft right now. But all it takes is Troy Franklin going out there, having a big game. It's crazy to think that Troy Franklin has the most targets on this team. Like, you'd think it'd be Courtland Sutton. When you look around the teams that are 7-2 in the NFL, the top of the receiving list is not a guy like Troy Franklin for a lot of them. I think the second half of the season, it's an opportunity for him or, Pat Bryant or whoever it may be to really take off and show I not only belong here as a starter in the NFL, but belong as a starter for a team that's playing in the AFC Championship game.
100%. When you see Troy Franklin's skill set, you see it, and you can see why Sean gets excited. You see these explosive plays that he can make, and then also we have hinted at this during the watch-alongs, and everybody needs to tune into the watch-alongs. But RK has pointed it out a couple times where Troy Franklin will get a 2-yard pass and he will have this 10-yard explosion. It's like, if we continue to see that more, if we turn those from 10 yards to 20 to 30 yards, that's where his game completely explodes. And I think Sean is also thinking about that, is how does he continue to build the confidence over time, because Troy Franklin is going to be a go-to guy in late December and January because nobody really can keep up with his speed.
I think Troy Franklin is second in the league in yards per catch on screens.
I would believe that. I would also believe if you said, and first is Marvin Mims or something.
As the resident Sean Payton whisperer on this panel,
same brain.
Sean Payton is going to make sure that Troy Franklin has a game tonight. I just
over
know.
100?
I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about our Bet365 picks in a second, but this is classic where Sean says, the media doesn't like that we didn't make a trade. Watch this.
Yeah.
Troy Franklin breakout game.
Especially on prime time. Sean's always about setting up some plays, and he's going to have those 3 to 4. I wonder if this is a have your family call in game, or is this a fight song game? I think we should start to play that now. I think this is going to be a fight song game.
Okay.
Where a whole bunch of different people will get into the end zone. I think Courtland, Troy, RJ Harvey continues to keep the streak week after week. I think he gets back into the end zone as well.
Yeah, and I think Sean has a bunch of those little bits that he likes to do. So he does like the trap game. So they play a trap game, and so he goes all around the team facility and just hangs mouse traps up on the wall everywhere, which is a really weird thing to do, but I guess it works and it resonates. He has the bat games. So like the Giants game was a bat game. So every player gets a baseball bat, not like Halloween bat, a baseball bat in their locker to signify like this is going to be a physical game.
Ooh.
We just need to go beat them. So I wonder
how.
Can a Raider game count as a trap game?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
for sure.
it can?
It's
Yes.
Thursday night, and then you play the Chiefs next week, and I think that's what makes this one a trap game. Usually, I wouldn't say that this would be a trap game because this is a rivalry game. This is an AFC West game, but you got two AFC West opponents back to back, and you have the Chiefs coming in here next week, and you could really take sole possession. You could really put the Chiefs out of it with a win, but that starts with the win tonight.
Right. Yeah, and I think that as a coach and as an organization, you try to explain to the players on the team what Broncos Raiders means, but like the Raiders haven't been relevant since like the Lyndon Johnson administration.
Wow. I don't know, but that sounds like it was a long time ago.
I think it was.
Yeah,
I think it was.
I think it was as well.
RK is dumping on the Raiders right now.
It's so much fun. It is. Accept it. I mean, I am curious about the rivalry aspect. It's something that we talk about in the locker room every week, and this week being a short week and Tuesday being the trade deadline, I didn't have a chance to go talk to any of the young guys about what's going on. Is Sean bringing in whoever it may be from back in Carl Mecklenburg to say, here's why we hated the Raiders? Because rivalries in the NFL just aren't what they used to be. And while college rivalries still very much are.
I think
so a lot
really
of these
depends.
young guys.
I think it depends on who the coaches are, and the longer you see Sean here, the more he will continue to embrace it. I think him and Harbaugh don't necessarily see eye to eye, so there's a rivalry there. And then Pete Carroll and Sean also, two of the older coaches in the league. I think there's a little bit of a rivalry there. Sean having a 4-1 record against Pete in the regular season, but Pete has beat him twice in the postseason. So those are things. There's a little bit of a coach rivalry there as well.
Right. And it's fun because we think back to Michael Crabtree and Aqib Talib and kind of how that rivalry kind of regained some steam because of that. Sometimes that's what it takes. It isn't so much like a lot of us grow up. I was told from the day I was born to hate the Raiders. And so the days where you get to really hate the Raiders are some of the best days of the year. That's not something that they all get to experience, or almost all of them experience growing up. And so you need to kind of be built into that. And with the Broncos kind of entering this era where we are very confident about what these next few years could look like, if the Raiders could just be any good at all, we could really have something brewing here.
I think tonight will actually re-spark this rivalry because playing a rivalry game on as a primetime game brings a little bit of extra juice. You don't want to get embarrassed on national television, so I expect the Raiders to come out here and play physical and play hard, especially with a guy like Pete Carroll leading them.
Yeah. Totally, and a lot of times it's a game in a situation like this that can get a down team up.
Right.
And so they're going to be pointing to, hey, they're going to be trying to pull all the cards of the rivalry to try and get the team riled up for this football game.
Totally. And they've obviously had their moments, too. I mean, just last week we were sitting in the bar watching. They were right there. They had a chance to go and beat the Jags. They have Brock Bowers. They have Maxx Crosby. Ashton Genty, who maybe the numbers don't jump off the page, but, it's 4 yards per carry. Meanwhile, of the 50 guys who have the most carries in the NFL this season, he gets the fewest yards before contact because they just can't put him in good situations. So you see some of those pieces there, and you know that they could pop off. It's just that you see 7-2 and you see 2-6, and you're just like, come on, what do we do?
This is different than the Jets, though. Like when the Broncos are playing the Jets, I'm like, man, there's really nothing to worry about here.
Yeah.
It's not that way with the Raiders. I mean, they have players who can make plays. I mean, Brock Bowers, Maxx Crosby, Ashton Genty is obviously incredibly talented. Like, you're kind of waiting to see if he has a game. So, to me, it's very different than saying, okay, this team has no fear.
Right. We transition into some of these game notes. Yeah. Big ones are the injury report. Unfortunately, 2 hours of kickoff still don't have the inactive, so we don't know officially who's in and who's out. Big news for the Broncos still is no Pat Surtain. And I think you see Jacoby Myers get traded away from the Raiders this week, their top receiver, and you say, okay, that makes you feel a little bit better. What we've seen from the Broncos recently, though, is that they're willing to put Pat Surtain on Brock Bowers, one of the NFL's best tight ends, and now you don't really have an easy answer for what you do with Brock Bowers in this game.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the Broncos cover Brock Bowers. I think Brock Bowers will be used all over the field. He's great at running choice routes, incredible size, speed, and hands. just a unique combination. I think he had 12 catches last week, 3 touchdowns. He will be featured tonight, and who's going to match up with him? The Broncos, as great as the defense is, number 1 defense in the league, they are the worst at covering the tight end. And they are the worst at yards after the catch. And those are 2 things that Brock Bowers does extremely well. So that is going to be the matchup that I'm going to be looking at. How will Vance Joseph cover Brock Bowers in this game? Because Brock has a unique skill set and ability, and he's the only guy that they really have.
And that's what I was going to say is this is it's really nice that Jacoby Myers isn't playing in this football game.
Yeah, he's a good player, too.
He is a good player. And when you overcommit resources to Brock Bowers, that's a guy who could have hurt you.
Yeah.
Now, all these guys get paid, and so you can't just say, oh, that guy has no chance of hurting us. They've got some big receivers who are fast and can get downfield. But I really think from a defensive perspective, you come into this game and you just say, stop Brock Bowers, win the football game.
100%.
And that you have the luxury of doing whatever you want to try to stop him.
Yeah, and I think Geno Smith is going to give you plenty of opportunities to pick the ball off. That's what I want to see from the Broncos defense tonight, is get some takeaways, because that's the next step for this defense to show that, not that we're Super Bowl caliber, that you're capable of winning the Super Bowl, is the takeaway. So that's what I want to see. Can you get a couple of interceptions or a forced fumble tonight? Because Geno is going to give you opportunities. Can we see Chris Abrams-Drain or Hufanga get a pick? I want to see Hufanga get a pick, man. I got this guy on the first team All-Pro status right now, so that's what I would love to see.
I would love
Hopefully
that.
he was on the jugs machine this week.
For sure, because there will be opportunities.
Yeah, well, and he dropped 2 last week.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
yeah, he's dropped 3 this year, I think.
They're all right there for him. Marvin Mims was back at practice this week. Won't play tonight, though. That's your all-pro returner. We saw the Broncos choose Michael Bandy as their backup punt returner. He's going to be up off the practice squad again.
Did they sign him to the 53, right?
Did they?
Did they sign?
I think they just activated him.
I think they just activated him. I thought it was
just moved him up for the game.
Yep.
Okay,
right.
Gotcha.
The tight end, Mercedes Lewis, I believe they may have they bumped one of those guys up. I figured it didn't really matter. They're all going to play.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Michael Bandy muffed the punt last week. No Marvin Mims. Is there any concern about not having Marvin for this game?
No, I don't think so. I think I don't feel that the Raiders defense presents any challenges to where you need Marvin's skill set, and like this is a gotta have it game for Marvin. Also, going against the number 1 defense last week, I think Bo is going to be a little bit more comfortable today. And I think the play calls will be. I thought he was great. Way to snap back at the reporter. Like that was really good.
He just has that thing about him where like he's got a little saltiness. He is Sean Payton's quarterback.
Yeah.
For those who didn't see,
Got a little prick in him.
He does.
It's like guys like you. That's what he said to the reporter.
Exactly. So somebody asked him, Bo, what can you do to make the first 3 quarters look more like the fourth quarter? You're playing really in the fourth quarter. First 3 not so great. And he basically said, well, it would probably help if we weren't playing the number 1 defense in the NFL, which they were last week.
They weren't against the Giants.
They weren't against the Giants. They were not. And that fourth quarter, that was just the fourth quarter. Maybe this will look more like the Bengals game. Maybe it'll look more like the Cowboys game.
Yeah. It should.
The Raiders' defense is not that bad.
No, it's not. And Patrick Graham is a hell of a defensive coordinator and plays a lot of man, will present a lot of confusing looks. They just don't have the talent.
Right.
So they're lacking the talent, and that's where you expect.
Right.
The
There's
Broncos
missing
to be a lot
talent
better.
in some places.
100%.
Because you still have like Maxx Crosby in there.
Yeah, but I expect Maxx Crosby. I expect Sean to neutralize Maxx Crosby, chip him every single play. You just have to account for him on every single play, and I think Sean does a really good job of, okay, this is their best pass rusher. This is the guy who has the motor. Let's do everything in our power to make sure we know where he's lined up, and let's neutralize him. And if they don't have the pass rush, Bo should be pretty comfortable.
Couple guys questionable for the Raiders. Adam Butler, one of them. Underrated defensive tackle, I'd say.
Yeah.
Maybe a lot of people haven't heard his name. Isaiah Polamau, another guy I appreciate. Pac-12 guy, back from my days covering the Pac-12. A safety.
You love Polynesian Pac-12 players.
Yeah, I was the one who told you about Talanoa Funga 8 years ago. Yeah, 6 years ago. You remember, you played against him.
Who did R.J. Harvey cook on that wheel route, though?
Who did he cook last week?
He shares your namesake.
Oh, he does. To'o, Henry To'o.
Yep.
Yes. Transferred to Tennessee.
Yes.
Tennessee.
Yep.
Yeah, and Bama. All right, I think that's it for the game notes. Real quick, before we move on, we've got to talk about this offense because it really has been great in the fourth quarter. It really hasn't been great the first 3 quarters. Got to give a shout-out, though, to our friends over at Coors Light. They make so much of what we do possible. We're drinking Coors Lights. We're going to be drinking Coors Lights. Well, you guys have the suite tonight, all fancy. Going to be back for the post-game show.
I know important people. What can I say?
Yeah, right. I know Benny, too.
Henry, you're going to the next one.
I am?
Yeah.
Is there... I'm taking your word for this.
I don't just say things like that.
Okay, good to know.
I'm not that type of person. No.
I will be back at the bar for the watch along, where you guys should all be hanging out with us. It'll be me and Dre and Jake. We'll be watching the entire game. We'll be drinking a lot of Coors Lights. We got that whole fridge stocked in there. Coors Light. When you want to choose chill, choose Coors Light. It really is the best beer ever since I was 21. It's been my favorite beer. Coors Light, great beer. Let's jump in. Like we've been talking about, the fourth quarter's been really good. First 3 years have not been so good. Benny, how do they fix this? How do they turn this offense into something that can produce from the opening whistle until the end of the game?
I think they are fixing that. I think they're on the path to fixing that. I think when we actually looked at the All-22 and we actually did the inside scoop the other day, I showed you plays where people are wide open, and that was against the number 1 defense. I think Sean has to continue to do a good job of giving Bo options to give him easy completions and help Bo see the field. But I think this is going to get better, and it has gotten better every single week. We're starting to see glimpses of certain things. They just got to finish drives, but we got to eliminate penalties, continue to protect Bo up front. But I think the offense will continue to hit its stride over time. We got 9 games left, and I think it will happen. I think these young players are getting better, and I think tonight will be, I think, the start of that. And I'm talking really slow right now because I'm thinking of what is really going to change that point. And going back to your question, I think it's going to be the interior passing game, and I think it's going to be Evan Ingram tonight.
I like it.
To me, it's running the football. Sean and I, guys like us, we love to throw it.
You do. You do.
And I get it. Like, he runs the ball, and they get like 30 yards, and he's like, here we go, time to throw. Like, finally, I can throw the football. And I just think that he needs to take his own advice on his play sheet and, just hunker down and run it. There was a time last week in the game where J.K. Dobbins had like a 13-yard carry. He's on the sidelines doing the feed me.
I love that.
And then he didn't get the ball for 3 straight drives.
I hated that part of the game. This is why he gets to halftime.
That's when you were freaking out.
Oh, yeah. I was freaking out.
I have never seen you act like that.
It's just one of those things where
Sean's done, man. I don't know if Bo's got.
There were some dark moments in that game. But I'm back again. It's been a bit of a roller coaster. I'm back again. But when you go into halftime, your starting running back, a guy who's number 3 in the NFL in rushing yards, has 4 carries for 24 yards, you're doing something wrong. The guy's giving you 6 yards per carry.
Yes.
I think
Feed him.
Did you know that the Broncos are, I think, top 10 in rushing attempts and a top 5 rushing team? So I think that Sean is like, all right, I got the run touches in.
Yeah.
So I think we need to tell Sean to get into top 5 attempts.
Yeah.
Because they're top 10 in rushing attempts, that shows that he's running the ball.
Right.
He's giving the Broncos and the offensive line opportunities to run.
It's like back when MPJ was on the Nuggets and he would like finish a game 5 for 5 from 3, and I'm just like, that should never happen. Right. There should always be a 6th, a 7th. Like, shoot until you miss.
Exactly.
And I think that's how Sean has to feel about J.K. Dobbins. Just shoot until you miss.
There is a piece of it, though, where, we all know his history. Over the course of his 5 years, 5 full seasons now in the NFL, he's averaged 7 games per season. Like, there are injuries that are holding him back. He's occasionally slowing down at the end of the year. So maybe some of it is we really need to preserve him. And maybe that means tonight, if the game starts well for the Broncos, you may not feel like you want to get him up to that 14, 15, 16, 20 carries. But against the Texans last week, that was just killing me. Like, that's a game where if the guy's working, nothing else is working on offense, just beat him.
Well, he wasn't. I don't think Sean was really worried about the Texans' offense and getting outscored in that game, where you got to play the time of possession, the field possession battle, which you will have to play next week. I think you will see a heavy dose of JK, and I'm sorry to do this right now, but next week against the Chiefs, you'll see a heavy dose. And you saw with what's the brother's name? Cook? What's his first name? It's not
James
Calvin.
Cook.
James Cook.
You
saw what James did to Kansas City, and you want to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. Now I think JK next week, that's where you're going to start to see a bulk of the carries, the 25 carry game.
That has a chance to take J.K. into legendary status in Broncos country.
It does.
I think We'll get to next week.
Yeah, we'll get to next week.
Classic players approach.
Be a big moment for a Mile High Salute, though. Just throw that out there. Yeah, I think we're going to see it. I think they have heard for so long now that they're a fourth quarter team.
Yeah.
Like, they're bailing things out. It looks like the 2011 season where Tebow. It doesn't look quite like
it
the
won't mean
2011
anything.
season,
If they put four quarters together tonight, it won't mean much.
Right.
It's still the Raiders. We want to see 4 quarters against a really good team.
But it would be nice to have that momentum going into next week.
For sure. I want to. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I want to see it. But that's what the narrative will be. It's like, okay, you did it against another losing team.
But the flip side of that narrative would be you couldn't play 4 quarters against the Raiders, and then on national TV, everybody. It's not national TV. We need to stop saying that. It's on the internet. It's on Prime.
That is true.
It's a standalone game. We can say that.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, and it's
Everyone's watching,
It's a
whether
prime
legally
time-
or
it's a prime-
illegally.
Prime time game.
Prime time game.
Yes.
It's not even on TV at all.
Last prime time win was against the AFC West opponent was against the Chargers when I scored 2.
Let's go.
So somebody's got to get
So what year was that?
2017 Monday Night Football.
Oh, wow.
2017 Monday Night Football.
And they haven't won a primetime AFC West game since?
Since then.
Why would we be talking about this now? That's when you keep in your head.
Because it's prime
We're
time.
talking about
Now
good
I'm
Benny
nervous.
memories.
Right, it is a good Benny memory. It's a great Benny memory. That's a great
AFC
Broncos
West,
memory.
AFC West that night, or AFC West game at night, they got to win.
Wait, if I don't ask you this now, I'm going to forget to ask you it later. What was the inspiration for your 2-point dance in the Super Bowl?
Billy White Shoes Johnson. That was his dance, and I wore all white for the Super Bowl. So everybody else had on blue socks, but I wore all white. Me and Vaughn are the only people wear all white. I took the fine, $5,000. But I wanted to wear all white socks. I wanted to wear all white because you don't know if you're ever going to play in the Super Bowl, and that's what I wanted my uniform to look like. So
Wow.
And now you got a picture of you, on the wall and
forever, all white.
Because Vaughn also did that dance too.
Did he?
Yeah, not in that Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
But he had hit that at some point.
Yeah. No, whatever his sack dance is for the week, he had weekly different ones.
How long did you think about that?
Right after we won the Patriots game, right after we won the AFC Championship game, for those 2 weeks leading up, I was like, all right, we're wearing white uniforms. All right, I'm going all white. Billy White Shoes Johnson.
Sick.
Wow. That's incredible. All right, before we get out of here, we got to get into the bets. Pre-game picks are presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use the code DNVR365. Deposit $10. Place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets. All right. I put together my 3 favorites for tonight. I decided not to be as aggressive as in the past.
Oh, we like that.
Yeah, because sometimes, calling
the
players to
last I
get the
got in the
interception.
account.
Oh, really?
I'm parlaying whatever you say.
First, 2 passing touchdowns from Bo Nix, -140. Sean Payton loves a passing touchdown. They get down to the red zone, and he's not like scheming up crazy run plays, but he has a dozen different pass plays that he's ready to go to, and they're all weird, and he just loves being able to show off. I think this is a night where they can get in the red zone, and I think that means Bo gets these. Second, also Bo Nix. I wanted to do something crazy and say 300 passing yards. That's maybe a step too far. Yep, we're being smart. We're going to say 250 passing yards at +175. For those of you who don't bet, make the $10 bet. You get a $17.50 profit. Pretty good deal. 250, I think they're capable. Again, this is a narrative game for them. Yes. They're out there trying to show that we are just a real productive offense and not this merchant of terrible defenses and fourth quarters. And then finally, RJ Harvey, 4 receptions, +250. The guy is a joker. The guy is an actual joker. You look at all the snaps in terms of splitting him out wide compared to the rest of the running backs in the NFL. He's now doing that as much as anybody. Like, it's him. You still have Kamara doing some of it. Devon Achane down in Miami's doing it. And it's working for him. The touchdown on the wheel route last week wasn't from wide receiver spot. It was from the backfield. But those are the matchups they're starting to exploit. The hands are there. You're seeing the trend go up. He's had 4 catches a few times already this season. I think the Broncos have found a use. And part of that is Sean really likes running the ball with JK. He hasn't been running the ball all that much with RJ, which is kind of interesting. I think that means they're just going to throw.
He's taking the Sproles role, the Kamara role that was early on of the receiving back. Yeah, he's the change of pace back.
So is it six touchdowns the last 4 games now?
Yeah.
5, something like that.
I put that all into a parlay. I actually went with 3 RJ Harvey receptions because that was already plus money.
Okay.
But it's 2 Bo Nix passing touchdowns, 3 RJ Harvey receptions, 250 Bo Nix yards. That is plus 490.
Love it.
Not bad.
Shout out to our friends again over at Bet365. Must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, before we get out of here, you guys have any final thoughts before we see you again for the post-game show?
No, I just expect the Broncos to come out there, make a statement on Thursday Night Football, and take the next step in terms of reclaiming the AFC West.
I want to say something really important,
Right.
and prophetic,
Right.
and just something that people can take with them tonight. Fuck the Raiders.
Yes, fuck the Raiders. We'll end on that note. Reminder, we'll be live for the entire game. Well, I will, not these two. I'll be there with Jake and Dre, so hang out with us on YouTube, and then tune into the post-game show after the game. Shout out to Dion for producing. I'm Hank, RK, Super Bowl 50 champion Benny Fowler.
And Yaya.
And Yaya, who's also here, but he's not hitting the buttons today. All right, see you guys in a couple minutes over on the Watch Along.
God bless Bo Nix.
We all silly like the mayor.